Kevin Smith on the phone? Oh, fucking Kevin.
All right.
That's why we love Kevin.
Kevin, let me start by saying, who is better than you?
Nobody. Gretzky,
okay. we can accept that. But we put out the bat signal for you, and there you are.
Thank you.
We just had
you know what? Give it up to, let me give a shout-outs to the people who hit me.
Okay.
Less than 313, and who else? Chris 98 VF and a dude named Wilcor. I hit my Twitter page, and suddenly, boom, 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 3 people were like, call O&A.
You didn't get my text? I texted you.
Yeah, Jimmy texted you.
He doesn't carry that phone.
I get such weak phone service up at the house, so it's rare that I have to call
you got to go with his
through.
Twitter.
Like, I go down the hill from my house, and I get 16 text messages.
That's so weird you can't get cell service in a place called Hollywood.
I know.
Where a lot of wheeling and dealing is going on.
You got AT&T, Kevin?
I do.
There you go.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you. Everyone has problems out there. Because all the hills and shit.
Aren't they opening it up soon? I heard something like next year.
Oh, they always say that.
iPhone's not exclusive to AT&T. I don't know, but it seems to be a kind of weak signal up here.
No, Kevin, we just had the Paranormal Activity actors in, okay? The movie, as we all know, is a huge success. Made $62 million so far, and by the time this is done, safe to say, a couple $100 million.
I would, easily.
Okay.
I don't know what it does foreign, but it doesn't feel like it's petering out till it gets to at least 100 or more here, depending on how far the craze goes post-Halloween.
And it's a Halloween season where we're in the middle of here. All right, so we got the actors in. The movie was made. They're now saying $11,000. Right. They obviously, we told them they're not making any money off this movie, right?
I mean, they'll get. I'm not really sure on the particulars of this. Somebody was telling me that it's like. It's a Paramount film, correct?
Yeah. The director, I don't remember his name, which sucks. I should give him credit here, but he sold the film to Paramount, I guess, for $350,000. So that's it for him, right? He's done.
I mean, I doubt it. I'm sure any agent worth their salt built into the dude's contract that he had bumps, at least bumps. What they'll do is build in bumps for unlikely hits. Like they'll say, when we hit 50 million, you get another 100,000. When we hit 100 million, you get $1 million. When we hit this, figuring it'll never reach those heights, and then all of a sudden you see this. I mean, you think about this may be inside baseball, but like this will tell you a story about how movie financing and back end deals can kind of blow up in your face. On Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams had this killer back-end deal that, said, like, if the movie made X amount of dollars, boom, he gets a huge bump. And if the movie made this, he gets a huge bump. Because you got to remember, the dude took, like, nothing up front to be in that movie.
Right.
And now he was a huge coup for us in that movie. So, and his agent, rightfully so, built into his deal, like, okay, he's not taking much up front, but, like, if in the unlikely event that this movie takes off, just covering our asses here, we're going to make sure that at these certain bump levels, Robin's going to be compensated. And it was huge compensation, dude. You're not talking like you get a $100,000 bump, which, again, that's huge, too. We're talking way bigger than that. Not at liberty to say what, because, I wasn't paying the dude, nor was I receiving the check. But as a dude involved, let me tell you, it was healthy, very healthy. But it was built in there kind of like, the reason that gets thrown into a contract and signed off on by a studio or a distributor is because they're like, we're never going to get there. And if we do get there, those are rich man problems. We'll deal with them then.
Huh. Yeah, Jimmy.
So then what happens is the movie does do that. It keeps going. Good Will Hunting is earning like crazy. And in order to keep it in theaters, I mean, if it was going to stay in theaters longer than it did, they were going to have to continue paying Robin Williams like a shit ton of dough. So right before it hit the next bump level, they pulled it out. And there's a chance that Good Will Hunting probably could have earned another 10, 15 million bucks.
Wow.
I mean, it was at the end of its cycle, yes, admittedly, but they had just won some Oscars. There was still lots of buzz in the air about it and whatnot, but the economics of the situation dictated that, like, it was less. They were going to earn more. They were going to lose less money. Not the money. Movie didn't lose money, but they were going to have to pay out less, particularly to Robin Williams. If
they basically couldn't afford it to be any more successful.
Isn't that weird?
Holy shit!
I always found that a fascinating story, and I was inside of it, right?
Damn.
We were producers on that.
Yeah.
But and it was just like it's weird to watch because I'm like, but wait, the movie's making money still. Ben and Matt were so frustrated by that. They were just like, how do you do that? Why do you pull it out? Like, we could have kept going, could have kept earning, could have made another 10, 15, who knows what.
Hey, Kevin, didn't he win the Oscar for that? Robin won for the Oscar for that.
He did, and the boys won the Oscar for screenplay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember them walking up there.
Hey, Kevin, I got to ask you something. I don't know.
Anyway, I'm sorry, does that answer the question about Matt, the Hollywood Matt?
Yes, the bump level. I didn't know about that.
I would imagine that. I would imagine. I have to imagine that whoever the fella is or chick is who made this flick got themselves an agent before they got involved in selling a movie.
But the bump level doesn't sound that impressive, But I guess that he didn't have a choice. What else was he going to do? He couldn't really hold out.
What doesn't sound impressive, though? The bump thing?
Oh, no, the Robin Williams. Jimmy actually wrote it down, and I just got lightheaded.
Yeah.
I almost fell over. No, I'm talking about the Paranormal Activity bump level. Doesn't sound that impressive, considering what this movie's going to end up making.
I mean, who knows what the bump level was, though? Who knows what they built it?
Yeah, you're probably accurate, though.
Kevin, I got to ask you, when you make Clerks, obviously, low budget movie, did you have to sell that to a company and then just kind of sit back and watch it kind of get a cult success and then?
Yeah, totally. I mean, and that was look. Lord knows now I got a presence all over the internet, and I'm a glory whore and a press whore, and I'm out there. I'm a self-promoting machine at this point. But back in the day, I was not. I certainly was not. I was taught how to be that by Harvey and Bob over the years, because they were self-promoters, and their philosophy was always like, look, you don't have any stars in your movie. This is talking about Clerks. You got nobody out there we can put on a talk show. So you made the film, at least you got something to say about it. Get out there and talk about it. So they made the filmmakers the front men for the movies. And all of a sudden you had a kind of decade where you have directors as quote-unquote stars, like their names. Like, in the 80s, name some big directors. Sure, you could name your Richard Donners and people like that, but, like, name some, like, middling-level directors like me from the 80s. You don't know their names. But in the 90s, the Weinsteins kind of put us out there, so you know the names of Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez and my name and a few others that they worked with over the years. So when you're that person, when you're the front person, you kind of build up something of an identity. I got lost in my fucking response. What were we talking about? What the fuck were we talking about?
Stoned
the show has been over for 2 hours, and he's just standing with an unplugged phone talking like a psycho.
I was just spinning, hoping I could remember what it was.
We've all been there. That's hilarious.
Oh, shit.
I don't even know now.
I was wondering, with Clerks being low budget,
at a certain point, I got lost, and I'm like, I just sound so self-aggrandizing. This guy wrapped up in a humble way.
I better remember what the fuck the question was.
You fucking rule, Kevin.
I just wanted to know, with Clerks being a low-budget movie, if you had to give it up and sell it, and then...
excellent question. I forgot.
And then you went into the end of the Kane Mutiny speech.
Strawberries.
I'll keep it brief. All that time, you make the movie, and your dream is to sell it. You want somebody to buy it. And, the biggest dream, the one we didn't even dare dream, was Miramax would buy it, because they were the gold standard, gentlemen. They were it. So when they bought it, you're like, oh, my God, all my dreams come true. It's 15 years later. In 10 more years over in the UK, I own it there again. I will own it in England. I'll never own it here in the States again, because when we sold it, Disney had just bought Miramax, and in all of their contracts, all of their deals, they put the in perpetuity clause, which was like, we're not buying this. Like, in the indie community, distributors would buy flicks for like 10 years at a clip, 15 years at a clip. And so Miramax used to do that. But when Disney bought them, Disney was like, look, we're not doing this rent-a system. Like, buy the movie, own it. It's more valuable to us to put it into a library that we own. So suddenly when you sold your flick, you were selling it forever. But we didn't care. We weren't like, babes in the woods going like, oh, no, we're giving it all up. all we ever wanted to do was sell the movie, right? And so boom, we did. But then the older you get, you sit there going like, it'd be so cool to own that movie.
Yeah, no shit.
It'd be really nice to be like, I do own Clerks. I don't own Clerks anymore. I made it and sold it. I'm a sellout.
But that's so fucking weird. You don't own your own stuff.
That is the weirdest thing. It's your own fucking
so
thing.
Bizarre.
That's your thoughts.
But that's the game, man. Like, anybody that works for somebody else or you make something you sell it to them, that's the game. You want to remain a true artist, one that doesn't ever sell out. You can't ever sell your merchandise.
I don't want to get personal or anything, but do you make any money off of that movie?
Oh, Clerks?
Yeah.
Clerks, yes. Clerks, after many, many years, went into profit, which is kind of hysterical. But anyway,
no shit.
It's, Hollywood math being what it is, or no, I won't even say Hollywood math, industry math being what it is. It seemingly took a long time for that movie to enter into the black, but when it did, it entered like a freight train and has continued to earn for me over the years. So I made they paid me $227,000 for that movie up front. That was it. That was like the whole nut. And out of that 227, $100,000 of it was used to get the movie up to 35 millimeter specs. So when you go to the theater and see Clerks, or when you went to the theater back in the day and saw Clerks, you weren't seeing like the $27,575 movie. You were seeing $127,575 movie because they put in the sound mix. They had to blow it up from 16 millimeter to 35 millimeter. And the print costs were included in that. So
and that came out of your take?
That came out of the take, totally.
Jesus Christ. Motherfuckers.
But I do. But again, remember, this is 1994, and all I didn't even care. They could have said, like, look, we're going to give you this fucking condom full of a lot of wad, and here's $2.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I'll take it, man, as long as there's Miramax at the front of this movie. Like, that's all that mattered. And also, you got to remember, like, a year later, everything changed at Sundance. That's when people started overpaying for movies. So at Sundance 94, that was the first time anyone ever bought a movie at the festival proper. Sometimes people would buy movies in advance of the fest, and sometimes they'd buy movies after the festival.
Great timing, Kevin.
But they never bought movies at the festival. And John Pearson, the guy who repped our flick, he also repped a movie called Go Fish, and that was the very first film that ever sold right at Sundance. And it was also a scrappy black and white independent film, but it was about girls, more importantly, or more to the point, it was about lesbians. So that movie sold to Goldwyn first, and then like 3 days later, our movie was the second movie to ever sell at Sundance, and it sold to Miramax. Now, both of those movies, I think Go Fish, John probably got maybe $500,000 for, $300,000 to $500,000 for, which was huge for a movie like that.
Yeah.
Ours, $227,000. I remember being at the restaurant, like we just had our final killer screening at Sundance. We didn't start. Our first two screenings were late in the first week of the festival, and the buzz just started building. We at Sundance, it's easy to sell out. Everyone's like, I sold out at Sundance. It's every screening at Sundance sells out because the town is overridden with crowds and whatnot. So our first two screenings have been sold out, but there was no buzz for us going into that festival and no buzz for us at the top of the festival at all. It was when we got to our second two screenings that all of a sudden the press started writing about it and all this shit. So we have our last screening at the Egyptian, and it's a killer screening, and that's where Harvey Weinstein is. And then after the screening, we do a killer Q&A. It's just like, oh, my God, this is it. And for us, it was never going to get better than that. We were never going to sell the movie. Like, everyone had passed on the movie. The festival was the best it was ever going to be. And then somebody yanked on my coat, and they were just like, Harvey Weinstein is sitting across the street with John Pearson, wants to sit down and talk about selling the movie. So we went over there, and Harvey Weinstein's sitting there and talking about, we're going to take this movie, we're going to buy it, we're going to fucking put it on 1,000 fucking screens, we're going to put it in fucking multiplexes, put a fucking music soundtrack on it, so fucking blow it out. And me and Moshe were like, fuck, yeah, this dude's a monster. John Pearson was sitting there with us, and he says, look, the movie's proven it's not a pig in a poke, okay? It's, we're not saying, give us a mint for it, but it has a following. There is an audience for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Harvey was just like, look, I'll give you $200,000 for it. And John Pearson was like, they paid $27,000 to make it. And Harvey was like, $227,000. And so John was like, okay, give us a second. And we go over and talk to John Pearson. And he goes, look, man, I don't think you care about the money. I never got that impression. I was like, I don't give a shit about the money. I said, but still, that's fucking huge. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, for you at that time,
like, I was like, $227. Whose cock do I got to suck for that? But, you know, he was like, this is Miramax. This is where you wanted it to be. This is the gold. I said, dude, take it. Like, I don't even know why we're in this conversation. So, boom, we took it. And that was like, you know, after the $100,000 that went away to blow the movie up to 35, left with 127,000. About 40 of it went to paying off the credit cards because the movie was $27,575, but all that interest and shit like that.
Yeah.
So it was about 40 off of that. So you take that out of that 127. Help me do the math, somebody. 127 less than 40. 40 less than 127 would be.
That would be
77,
87,000.
And then I cut some checks for people involved. Like I paid my parents $10,000 because they had loaned me money. Scott's parents $10,000. That brings us down to what?
67.
67. I gave Scott, I think, did I give him $10,000? Yeah, I gave $10,000. It gives 57.
Oh boy, 57.
I gave the boys $3,000 apiece. That would be Brian, Jeff, and Jay. So what does that bring us to?
54.
54. The girls, they gave $1,000 apiece because they, you know, they only worked but they only worked 2 days on the movie, 2 or 3 days apiece.
Fuck them, Kevin. I know.
They're gross.
So what's that left with?
Around 50.
Yeah.
Around 50, and then out of that, I bought, the only thing I bought for myself, the thing I went absolutely apeshit with, was I bought a Dodge Neon. I didn't know shit about cars.
You fucking Jersey trash.
I'm like, I'm going to get me a pussy magnet car.
Dodge Neon.
So what did you do with the 48,000 you had left?
That was the crazy thing. It was a cheap car. I couldn't get my head around putting a lot of money into a new car. Like, I'd only owned used cars my whole life.
Yeah.
So, like, the idea of getting a new car, when somebody told me how much they were, I was just like, I don't want to pay that. It's a waste of money. So Dodge Neon, I think, was $16,000, and I was just like,
I could swing that.
That is decadent. That is just, that's me living like Hugh Hefner or Liberace, you know. And I threw caution to the wind, and I bought that Dodge Neon.
God damn.
And the car was made of rubber, dude. Like, seriously, if you pulled into a spot and touched the parking sign, it dented in. It was just crazy, but that was it. So after it's 16,000 from 50, 30, essentially $34,000 is that was what I walked away from.
So Kevin, like, you didn't have to take care of the soundtrack rights.
No, that was all.
That was all the studio.
Like when Sony came in with the music deal, they were the ones that were like, "Look, we'll take care of all that. We love the movie. We got a bunch of music we'd like to put into that movie and own the soundtrack." And those deals are kind of like, you know, they'll give, back in those days, they would give kind of a token fee or whatever to the film, to the studio distributor or whatever, to be involved, but then they absorbed all the costs. And where they helped out a lot was, if you had a soundtrack, they were essentially paying for the music that you had in the movie, as long as it was the stuff from their label and whatnot.
Right.
So that kind of worked out for us. I mean, we didn't have that much music. If you watch the Sundance cut on that Clerks 10 DVD, there's not a lot of music. There's the Love Among Freaks song in the beginning and Berserker at one point and some incidental music. But nothing else. I mean, that came later on, that soundtrack stuff.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Kevin, my Twitter's blowing up. People want to know if I'm still in the movie.
Yeah, you're still in Dicks, dude.
Cool. I lied, by the way. My Twitter's not blowing up. Yeah. It's just it's a very easy way to get through my own neediness.
The scene got a little shorter. Every scene got a little shorter. My current running time is 90 minutes.
Okay.
I think before release, we'll probably wind up going up by a few minutes. But right now we're at 90. But you're in there, hands down, and it's a far better handoff to you than we'd had before.
Oh, good.
It was just very, very high profile. It's good, man. You're in there. You're in there in a big way.
Do you eat sushi?
No, heavens no.
Okay, I was going to ask you for a sushi date when I'm in California.
No, man. We'll go to that right by because you guys shoot in Burbank, yeah?
Yes.
Right by there, there's an awesome Philly cheesesteak place, Philly's Best, that is run by a dude who used to work on The Tonight Show. I don't know if he went over to Leno's new show. His name's Mike. But he's the floor manager on the old show, I think. And he opened up a cheesesteak place, man. It's like 2 blocks from it. It is so fucking good.
Oh, you got to go there.
Yeah, it's good. It's like the authentic. They fly in the Amoroso rolls, and they use the whiz, and it's great.
Right on.
Kevin, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, there's a lot of good insight we needed. We were like boggled about the whole thing.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out the whole paranormal activity phenomenon and who makes money and shit.
The best people to talk to would have been those the Blair Witch kids, man.
Well, we joked about it during the break. Ant goes, "Where are the Blair Witch kids now?"
They're still on the job site right now, I'm sure. I don't think we could get them.
Yeah.
They're sweeping up or something.
Do you think this is a...
And those kids were on the cover of Time magazine.
Oh, shit. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine but one of them, I know one of them works. I've seen the dude, the dude who was in the corner at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
I saw him in a Law and Order and a few other things.
Oh, wow. There you go.
But the other two I haven't really seen.
The chick I saw, she got that guy from ESPN fired.
Why?
Come on.
We're talking about Brooke Hundley and Steve Phillips.
The Steve Phillips thing.
Oh.
It's big news.
Yes, he was having sex with Meatloaf in 1976.
Meatloaf.
Isn't that weird, though? Like, your first movie, man, they put you on the cover of Time magazine, and you're like, it's always going to be like this, isn't it?
Oh, this is it, man. I mean, we made it finally.
That hard, that fast, that quick, and it wasn't even like you're doing. It was just like you got caught up in a phenomena.
It just happened.
I would just walk away from the whole thing, though, at the end of it being like, that was an awesome moment. I can frame that cover, and I won't be one of those jackasses who gets that fake Time magazine cover at the boardwalk.
I'll have a real one. Yeah.
I've got a real one, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. But still, I mean, that's a transition that has to be made. Right?
A memory like the first time you learned to ride a bike and everything else. It's just there and then it's gone.
But I mean, on that level, dude, it's like your first sexual experience being with like an insane professional hooker.
Yeah, it's like the first time you get laid, Megan Fox puts her anus on your face. That's your first one.
And then every time after that, it's like you're begging for a hand job.
Yeah, it's fucking Mindy Cohn from The Facts of Life.
That's great.
Well, I come out again. Wednesday, so I'll call you before I come out to see if you're around. If you're too busy editing, we won't.
On Thursday, I got I go to San Francisco the day before. I got a gig there.
Okay.
On the 30th, so I won't be there on Thursday. But if you get on Wednesday we might be able. Oh, fuck, dude! Wednesday, meaning tomorrow night?
Oh, yes.
What time do you get in?
I think I landed 4-something.
Ooh, well then come listen to me. God, I sounded so gay.
That's okay. I'm listening with bated breath.
I know, and it's not going to be that good. We're having a screening, friends and family screening of the movie. Just put it up in front of some faces and some eyes and ears and see how the jokes are playing.
Okay, good.
That's at 6 o'clock. Over at Burbank on the lot. So if you want to go, man, I'll put you down on the list, and boom, you're there.
Okay. I can't guarantee I'll make it because of the flight, but I should be able to make that.
All right, then I'll put you down on the list regardless, and have somebody send you the info.
Okay.
What you need to do though is blow me up with an email, and I could just attach it to the.
Just give your email out, Jimmy.
I can just tell you because I have a public email. It's therealjimnorton@gmail.com.
Well, that means I got to write you.
I don't know. I don't.
Fuck that.
I don't know what your.
Don't you have my email?
Treat this guy like shit.
I don't have your email.
We'd normally do it through Twitter.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I've been messaging. It was either text or Twitter, but maybe it was an email. I thought we had the email.
We never emailed to you. You texted me.
All right, hold on. Give me the.
I don't have your email.
This is hysterical.
What is it? The real Jim Norton?
Therealjimnorton@gmail.com. What a pompous ass I am.
Why are you? You're supposed to write him, Jim.
Thealjimnorton@gmail.com. No, I don't want Kevin to give his email out over the air.
I understand all that, but
What's that, buddy?
I said, yeah, I don't want to do that either. Is the real Jim Norton all one word?
Yes, at gmail.com.
Look for an email from me soon.
Okay, I almost always be great if he sent his email. Look for an email from him and he gave it out anyway. Then we'd all be the wiser.
Well, Kevin, Steve from Bayshore right now is saying, how many people are setting up fake Kevin Smith emails?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to get, believe me, a bunch of bad invites. I'll have to weed through all the wrong ones, but they'll fuck up. Turn left, faggot. I'll know. Oh, those aren't the directions.
No, that is the real one.
Yeah,
that could be Kevin Smith very easily.
We're going to be duped by a fake Kevin Smith, wind up in a back alley type situation.
I know, getting raped.
It's going to be like the screening's just over there.
Yeah. There. Where? Under that black man's testicles.
Yeah. He says, Steve's saying someone's going to send you to Compton.
Yeah.
No, man, we're going to treat you like Lorraine Bracco and Goodfellas.
Go in there and get that dress.
With
over there.
Fucking dresses down the street.
No, over there. Yeah. Hey, Kevin. Yeah, we got to.
Thank you, Kevin.
Wrap up. But
wait, let me ask you a question. In that scene in Goodfellas, I always wondered this. Do you think she was really going to be killed if she went in there?
I don't think so.
No.
I think she was very paranoid about it, and it was more her point of view of the paranoia than what was really going to happen. Yeah.
He was not going to hurt her.
No.
Yeah, I never got the impression that the guy inside was going to fucking do it wrong.
They did look a little shady in there, though. I'll tell you that.
It looked like they were.
But it's such a great piece of cinema because you feel that tension and you're with her. You're I'm going in there. I don't want that dress. I just
fuck that. Yeah.
And the guys inside look like workers, but it's a creepy, empty place.
And they all stop and start turning toward her.
Yeah. Oh, is this the one we kill?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're right. That is a great piece because you really don't know. Although personally, I think it was just her freaking out.
It's conjecture, and you want to ask, Scorsese, but I'm sure like any good artist, he'd be like, "Well, it's in your perspective," kind of thing.
And I'd say, Martin, what did you think? I wouldn't call him Marty. I'd say, Martin, what did you think?
Martin.
And he'd give you one of those vague answers, and then you'd say, "Yeah, thanks for nothing."
Yeah, what is that?
Number one, it wouldn't be vague, and it wouldn't be short either. My man likes to talk.
Oh, does he? Is he a little chatty Marty?
I like to talk, but he likes it. He's like, what he says is thinking fast, though. You got to follow it quick.
Oh, I got you. I got your email, Kevin, so I can email you, actually. Roland,
All
Texas.
right, fellas. I know you got to go.
All right, Kevin.
Cool, man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kevin.
No worries. Bye.
Bye, doll.
There he goes, Kevin Smith. Fucking what a friend.
He's a trooper, that son of a bitch, huh?
That was some good insight,
Comes right through, gives us all the info I want to know.
Kevin's a very good storyteller. Like he can be interesting talking about movie financing.
I loved when he got tripped up.
That was
as he's going, I'm like, he's not really answering my question. And then I have no idea what he's talking about.
He was just in a fucking spiral.
Oh,
that was I just woke up and I'm high spiral.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic, man.
All right, why don't we take a break and we'll wrap up this radio show next. Opie and Anthony.